Hi, and welcome to the SIREN Show. SIREN stands for Staten Island Real Estate News and is an interactive blog site that discusses the most recent real estate-related topics on Staten Island, as well as some general topics of real estate throughout the rest of the country. It also discusses what's new and fresh in Staten Island, from hot new restaurants to cultural events going on right in your neighborhood. Today's show will center around why it's an opportune time to buy a home. I'm your host, Adam Steinhandler. The purpose of this show is to educate the public on why it's an opportune time to buy a home, and more importantly, why it's an opportune time to buy a home right here on Staten Island. Today we have with us a panel of guests with a wide variety of real estate related backgrounds. We're going to discuss why it's an opportune time to buy a home and why it's a buyer's market and what that means to you. We're also going to discuss the current economic situation and how low mortgage rates and tax incentives can help you take advantage of the current situation. We're also going to discuss what areas on Staten Island we feel has the greatest growth potential, as well as the types of housing that has held up the best in the current recession. Today we have with us Sandy Kruger, the CEO of the Staten Island Board of Realtors, Henry Salmon, the President and CEO of Equity Valuation Associates, the leading appraisal firm on Staten Island, and Ralph Bronca, the CEO and President of Victory State Bank. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. Now let's get to the discussion. Sandy, given the fact that mortgage rates have come down significantly over the past few months and the credit and down payment requirements have gotten so much tighter, why do you think it's better to buy right now than rent on Staten Island?
Well, I mean, certainly rates coming down is a good sign for buying. Mm-hmm. But like everywhere else in the country, our prices have come down from the top of the bubble. We're down significantly, although certainly not like other places in the country. But we're down below where we started at the beginning of the bubble, certainly below the highs. And unfortunately, for some people, I mean, this is a time of unemployment and people losing jobs, but problems for some people are always opportunities for other people. Sure. So there are very motivated buyers on Staten Island. We're sitting with inventory levels that are very high, although our numbers of listings are below a year ago, but our sales rates are much lower as well, so our inventory levels are very high. So there's lots of selection for a buyer. There's lots of opportunities. There are motivated sellers because of, unfortunately, of the job situation and concerns about the job situation. And I think people have been sitting on the fence for many months now, waiting to hear what was going to happen with our change in administration. Mm-hmm. And now we're getting some clarity on that. A
little bit more concrete and everything.
Yeah, a little more clarity over the last couple of weeks. So there are certainly some excellent opportunities for, in particular, first-time home buyers. Mm-hmm. From the administration. So I think right now all signs are pointing towards this is a good time. If you're in a position to be able to do it, this is a good time to get into the market.
I agree. Okay. Ralph, do you think that Staten Island's diverse types of housing, whether it be single-family homes, multi-family homes, retirement communities, or low-income housing, has attracted more people to the island and made Staten Island a more appealing place to buy a home? And do you think that because of the diversity in the housing available on Staten Island, that this has allowed Staten Island to be relatively isolated from the real estate bubble that has crippled the rest of the nation?
Well, I think that the diverse type of housing is a big plus for Staten Island, especially with the addition of the retirement community housing that we have on Charleston. What that has allowed people to do is move out of the houses where they've typically have lived and gone into a retirement community, make that stock available for the next generation of buyers, whether that be even sometimes their own children or the younger couples coming up. And I think it's a major plus for Staten Island that we have this diverse type of housing. Has it protected us in the sense of pricing and keeping us a little insulated, I guess, from the real estate bubble? To some extent, yes. It's kind of hard to be totally protected against a market like this is. But because people have options here on the island, it makes it a little bit easier for new-time home buyers and existing buyers who want to go up in scale or move to a retirement community. It's a community that has it that I would say the other 5 boroughs really don't. The 4 of the other 5 boroughs, excuse me. don't.
All right. Henry, is there a better time of year to buy a home when sellers are maybe historically more willing to negotiate with buyers?
Right now is the best time. The winter before the spring flowers come up. People that have to sell are much more motivated. But being an appraiser, the definition of market value is willing buyers and willing sellers. Right now we have a lot of inventory because people are throwing out prices and they're not totally convinced that they need to sell. Those homes that are priced appropriately from the beginning are selling. Those homes where people aren't quite sure are just sitting there for a long period of time.
Now you say priced appropriately, just trying to gauge appropriateness, I guess, because some people are thinking their home values are appropriate as compared to maybe 2 years ago. But right now, what kind of percent decrease do you see in the level of appropriateness from maybe 2 years ago to about now?
There's not a specific percentage, but anywhere from 20 to 50% less.
Really, even on Staten Island?
Definitely.
Wow, that's substantial.